a couple of things here. Number one is I went and replaced both the optical drives. I'm going to have to replace the bottom one again because that one seems to be having a couple of issues. But, so I've done that. Right now they're both Sony drives. I don't know if you'll be able to see this a little better if I move some of this junk out of the way. Maybe, just barely, you can see there. This one's a DVD RW, I think. Should be a DVD RW, at least a DVD drive. And this one down here is a CD-ROM. I'm going to replace the CD-ROM with this. It's a little NEC multi-spin. Should be good enough for this task. But, so we'll see how that goes. I've also upgraded the RAM. I'm testing the RAM right now. As you might be able to see, it's already made one complete pass, which is good enough for me. Look at that bandwidth. That is slow. It's amazing just how far we've come. But I will admit the RAM subsystem in this machine is kind of crappy. As you can see, we've got two different... Well, we got 5 slots at first glance, but it's actually 2 different types of memory module. Turn on night shot so you might be able to see it a little better as I try to knock my monitor over. 2 DDR memory module slots there, which are populated, and 3 PC-133. Now, I read the manual, and the manual seemed to imply that this thing would take a maximum of 2 gigabytes of memory on the DDR slots, as well as 3 gigabytes of memory maximum on the PC-133. As I suspected, you can't mix the two of them. It tells you that pretty clearly in the manual, so you can't have 5 gigs or anything like that. But I tried putting 2 gigs of RAM in this thing, and that didn't work at all. It gave me interesting but different problems depending upon the module that I tried. Sometimes I'd get no video, but it would appear to post properly. But most of the time what ended up happening is it would come to the power on self-test, and it would behave very strangely. It would start overwriting itself on the screen, and it wouldn't be able to boot anything. And when you go into system setup, you'll notice you've only got 1 megabyte of memory. So I don't know what happened there. I suspect maybe I probably need to update the BIOS on this thing. I'll have to look into that. If not, it's got 1.5 gigs of RAM in it right now, and that should be more than good enough for what I'm going to do. This thing is pretty much limited to 32-bit operating systems anyway. It actually is limited to that, because that's what the CPU is. It's a 32-bit only CPU. And it's not really going to be running anything great anyway, because it's only got SSE instructions, not SSE2 or higher. Alright, so I haven't changed the video card. I will be changing out this Ethernet card here to one of those 3C905s, because my intention is actually to run Linux on this thing, and those 3C905s work very well under Linux, not so well under Windows. And I really haven't been able to figure out why that is. Sound card is probably going to stay in this machine, although I don't know. I may pull that out and put that into something a little more deserving at some point, but what's definitely going to happen is I'm replacing that Screamer hard drive. So I've got a pile of drives sitting over here that I'm going to try and see, mostly so I can see which ones are Screamers and which ones are not, and find a good drive to put in the system. 80 gigabytes is probably a little bit more than I want to put in it anyway. Okay, here's the first contestant, 40 gigabyte Western Digital, which I initially thought was going to be a fluid-bearing drive because it's in the black case, but oops, I looked at the manufacture date there, which I don't know if this camera will focus on. It says March of 2004, so probably not. Let's flick the power and see what happens. Oh, it is a fluid-bearing drive. Why don't you test all the RAM? That noise you can hear is the CD-ROM drive, or the DVD-ROM drive. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's jumpered for master. That's not very good. Let me investigate a bit here. Okay, well, it was jumpered for master, strictly master. And I know on here it says master with slave present. And I think these Western Digital drives are picky about that, so let's try it again. They're marked as being the single drive. System still posts. Yep, there we go. 40 WD-400BB, 40 gigs. Never did understand why the Western Digitals are picky about that, while nobody else's drives are. Let's check out the smart data on this one. Is this one a good drive? I don't strictly need 40 gigs. I could probably get by with a 20, but a little bit more future-proofing. A lot quieter without that irritating Do we have another problem here? This shouldn't take that long. There we go. Don't know why it took that long. Smart warning! Alright, let's have a look. Raw read error rate has failed in the past. Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's too bad, so could probably use this drive. Let me try another one. There's another 40. This one's significantly older though, 2001. Probably a screamer. Actually, pretty much guaranteed to be a screamer, and it may not even work. Dell part number. Well, maybe it does work. I didn't sound very good though. See if this is the same deal. Yeah, it is. I'm gonna have to jumper it. Okay, that one, even if I was going to use a screamer drive, it's probably not going to be this one. I may just recycle this one. High hour too. Well, I don't know. It might be good for a test drive, but probably not much else. Alright, please do forgive the fan noise. I have the fans running in the window, and I have that one going because there's a hotspot developing in here, and I don't want that happening, so I went ahead and done that. That said, I don't think it's too objectionably loud. Anyway, I went ahead and I changed that optical drive, as I said I was going to do. You can see that down there, the NEC multi-spin. Which looks like it's not flush. That might be a little annoying, but I think we'll probably leave it alone. I also made my decision on the hard drive. I'm going to use a Death Star. That happens to have fluid bearings. It seems to be working fine. Again, the system is really not going to get used for a whole lot as far as I am planning right now. I'm just going to put some kind of Linux on it. So what are we going to do? Alright, Control-Alt-Delete. What happened? Yeah, just as I suspected, video card popped loose because I actually forgot to put the screw in to hold it in place. Oh, look at this. Isn't that lovely? Completely invalid message. Let me deal with this. Alright. After finding a dud, 3C905, it's the first time I've ever seen one of these not work. Put it into the system immediately powers on, and it will not initialize plug-and-play cards if that's installed, so... Well, I had a lifetime supply of those things, so I don't really need that one. But, should now be ready to go. Put another one in there. Let's see, let's eject my Ultimate Boot CD. Don't really need that. That's when it'll stop working, just watch. Alright. Should, theoretically, initializing MBA. Actually, oh no, that's for the network card. I guess it's got a boot ROM on it. Which is kind of a surprise. I didn't think it did. I'm going to be trying out Solid K. So, we'll see if this goes well. I'm not a fan of the KDE desktop, but we'll give it a shot. See what I think of it. Well, so much for that idea. Sat there for about the better part of 20 minutes, churning the disk doing absolutely nothing, and I don't have that kind of time, so moving on. I've already got this on one system, the Toshiba Tecra A8, but I figure I'll put it on this. This is going to be an experimental box. I'll probably end up putting something else on it before it's all said and done. But at least this will allow me to test out the system and make sure that it still happens to work. If this isn't going to sit here and churn the disk, because again, it's not really doing a whole lot. There we go. I'm really not doing stuff rather quickly. It's rather slow, but at least it's doing something. Okay, well, we're getting somewhere. I have a mouse. And the installer has come up. I just started the installer directly. Don't have it on my network because I forgot to get the network cable. I might not put it on my network tonight. I might wait to do that because I've got other things to do other than to be messing around with this thing. But yet I'm messing around with this thing anyway, because I am dedicated to my viewers. I want to get this done. Alright, normal install is fine. Download updates is selected, although it can't possibly download updates because the thing is grayed out. Actually, let me go get my Ethernet cable and see what happens. Okay, well that's odd. The installer does not seem to have detected that I have connected to my network. Up here, it's still showing the icon for not connected, but yet here it is connected to the network, so hopefully that isn't going to be a problem later. But I've learned that if it's Linux, it's probably going to be a problem, so I can hope and dream. Okay, let's see if this is going to work. Partitioner should be next. I'm not going to go through all this mess. I'm going to let this thing install and then I'll come back. Because I don't want this video to get to frightful length, and you've seen Linux installs before. Alright, wow, that didn't take forever. That was almost a panic moment. Lost my mouse there for a second, but looks like that's done. So we will now reboot into our new install and probably find that it's not going to work because there's an instruction on the CPU that doesn't exist. Or it wants an instruction that doesn't exist on the CPU. Hopefully this video will be coming to a close though. Okay. Now, this is the network card initializing. I didn't think it had a boot ROM on it. Let's see if it actually boots. Then we got hard drive activity. Positive sign so far. Okay, that's some odd behavior. Must be because it's an ATI video card. Alright, let's go to Firefox here for a second and just see what's going on when I open up a browser. I'm not real sure why it's doing that. It really doesn't make any sense to me. You know, it's a Radeon 9200. It's been around for how many years? Almost 15 years. There's no excuse for it to not get this right. But, typical Linux. Yep, junk. Alright, so we're going to look at this in another video because I don't have time for this right now, so that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you've got any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. Okay, to be fair, that's probably because of the lack of SSE 2 or 3 or whatever, but I don't care. There's really no excuse for that not to work, so well, there you go.